Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the show actress Kelly Brook. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
You are one of the stars of the new NBC show One Big Happy, which is produced by Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes.
This is your first sitcom and first TV show for the United States?
Yes, I mean, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
I was on a show like many years ago called Smallville, but just the first season for a few
But that wasn't
episodes.
your vehicle.
No,
that was just
no.
you were
It was
part
like,
of.
yeah, I was like a small role in that. So this is kind of
I like how you addressed this show called Smallville. Like nobody knows what that was. Smallville was huge.
Yes, it was huge. It turned out to be great. I mean, that went for years, didn't it? But no, this is, I've been living in England for like years. So this is my first kind of, my big show here. It's been amazing.
What people didn't see as this interview was getting ready to start that we were dancing just like Ellen does, and then we sat down and now we're doing the interview. Is that how the TV show starts when you're going to produce
pretty
it?
much. I mean, the thing is, we film in front of a live audience, so during filming, whenever like we have to break and like the writers all huddle and they come up with like new punchlines or they want to change the script slightly, they have to kind of ramp up the music and get all the audience kind of get their energy, keep their energy up.
Right.
And so I'm trying to concentrate while like some grandmothers in the audience like twerking and rocking out and having a great time, and I'm trying to like learn my lines.
So if that's going on, then you don't really have like a warm-up comedian to get the audience ready. You have somebody out. You have like Fly Girls from like In Living Color.
Yeah, we should do actually. Well, I think the Fly Girls get picked out of the audience, but we do have a warm-up guy, and he, they crank the music up, and you just have to block it out. They always seem like they're having a whale of a time. A better time doing that than watching us perform, actually.
So besides this being your vehicle and your baby, you're also joined with Alicia Cuthbert and Nick Zano as the leads for this. This is also the brainchild of Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes.
How hands-on is she as far as the show goes? Does she show up during production? Does she show up during taping, writers' meetings, any of that stuff?
Well, knowing Ellen, she's a bit of a practical joker, so she kind of shows up
unannounced.
And actually, the first time I met her in the opening, in the pilot, my character Prudence is kind of like this free spirit Brit that falls in love with Luke's character, and she meets Alicia in the kitchen, and she's actually walking around with nothing on. And during filming that, Ellen actually walked in instead of Alicia and introduced herself to me while I was standing there.
Hi, I'm your boss.
Hi, I'm your boss. And I was standing there with literally nothing on.
So, because that scene is in the trailer before the pilot episode came out.
Yeah.
Heavily blurred for American television.
Yes.
But you weren't wearing pasties or anything like that?
I
you
was.
went. Oh, okay.
Do you know what? I'm a bit scared about that because if this show goes into syndication, I don't know if they'll they might, if it goes to Germany or one of these countries where
it's whatever the rules of the country of origin.
Yeah, so they might take out the blurry bits.
No, America is the country of origin for the
so
show.
they'll keep it.
So the only thing they ever uncensor is usually language.
Oh, really?
But if it was an HBO show, say like The Sopranos, and you watch it on one of the basic cable networks, I forget which one, maybe A&E here in the United States was running it at one point. They cut out the graphic scenes as far as sex goes. If they can't blur it, they cut the whole scene short or out altogether.
Right.
They'll beep the language so it sounds horrible, or what they do is they replace the language.
Oh.
Which has been an ongoing thing that the morning show that I work on, Opie and Anthony, has been fascinated with, where you're watching a movie that you saw in the theater was great, but now it's on Channel 5.
Right.
And instead of saying motherfucker, it's saying mother hawker, or mother trucker or something like they just put this cornball language into it to censor it. But if it's nudity like that, they're not going to uncensor it and put it out for distribution. Well, you'll be fine. But here's another thing. I don't know what you're worried about.
There's loads of pictures of me on the internet.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's movies
I've been hacked numerous times.
All right, we'll come back to this show in a second. Let me give the quick plug. One Big Happy, produced by Ellen DeGeneres. You are Prudence on the show.
Yes.
Tuesday nights, 9:30 on NBC. Anytime you look you up on the internet, you are constantly hounded by paparazzi. And they seem to love to follow you to the beach.
Yes, they do.
No matter where you are in the world.
Well, they know where I live, so they sit outside and they just kind of follow me about my business. So,
right.
Yeah. So I tend not to go to the beach on those days.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about the uncensoring for syndication and all that, because you're pretty, open and expressive in your life. And
well, I've been a lingerie model for years.
Right.
So I had like a lingerie line and a swimwear line, and I modeled that for many years. So so I was always quite comfortable with my body, and I'm not a super skinny girl. Like I've got boobs and a bum, and
it's not a bad thing.
No, but
it's not a bad
fashion,
thing.
It's kind of like
Lewis
a little
over
bit
here is one of my
upon.
producers. Lewis, that's a good thing, right? See, there you go.
Oh, okay, great.
You don't need that Paris Hilton bullshit.
Okay, so yeah, so I guess that's why there's not many girls that I guess really embrace that kind of a body. You know, girls are always trying to.
What do they call it? Full figured now?
Full figure,
right?
plus size, curvy. I don't know what you call it. I don't know.
So this isn't a problem for you. The paparazzi hounds you, and you said that you started off as a model. Where did you get your actual start?
Oh, no, my actual start was on a TV show called The Big Breakfast, which is like a morning show, like Saturday Night Live.
I know The Big Breakfast.
Yeah, do you remember that show?
I used to know Sarah Cox.
Okay. Yeah, so I started on that show. Well, I think
when?
I was on before her.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
she was on in the late.
Me.
She was on in the late, like, turn of the century, like 99, 2000,
90s,
somewhere there. Yeah.
She replaced me on the show.
I never knew the show, and I went over to the UK in the first time in 1999, and that's where I watched the show as I traveled through England. And it's on BBC, or
no,
is
it's
it
on
ITV?
Channel 4. It's kind of a 2-hour live morning show that is just.
It's like the Today Show here in New
York.
York.
There's lots of innuendo. It's fun.
Mixed with Good Day New York, Good Day LA, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
right.
but lots of energy, lots of like we used to dress up in silly outfits, sing songs, and interview like amazing actors and musicians.
So what was your role as far as the Big Breakfast?
So I was the host of that show.
Oh, okay. So you weren't just part of the ensemble.
No,
you were right there
I was the host with Johnny Vaughan. So me and Johnny were the so that was like my kind of big break on TV.
Right.
And then from there I went on to MTV, and I had my own show on MTV for a while.
What'd you do on MTV UK?
Yeah, MTV UK. So I had like I did like TRL, like the UK equivalent. And then I decided to move to LA and become an actress, and that's kind of.
Where did the modeling start with all of this then?
Well,
because usually to get that kind of a gig with a Big Breakfast type of show, a Good Day New York kind of show, usually when you're getting those. You got an anchor spot, which is great. A lot of people get the correspondence or the part of the ensemble doing the entertainment reports or the box office totals or whatever, and they were models and they got that gig.
Right.
You did it the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I went to like a performing arts school for many years, and so when I graduated, I worked, I did some pop videos, I did some advertising work, I kind of did promotional stuff, like, whatever you do to kind of like pay the rent. And then I met a stylist who was married to Johnny Vaughan, and she said, oh, you should bring Kelly in for a casting for the, to be, and I don't know how I got the job, but I was like 18 when I got the job. So it was like a massive
That's
thing.
unheard of.
Yeah.
To be 18
I mean, I was
and
a bit of a disaster. I did get fired after 6 months. It wasn't great.
But you got the gig.
I got it, but I didn't keep it.
Right. Well, that's your own fault.
But nothing's forever, so it's
But
fine.
getting the gig is part you're doing and part luck and what have you.
Yeah, it was a big learning curve.
Was that a disaster as far as the press goes when you left?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, they were like, well, how can you give this 18-year-old unknown girl the biggest job in television? And is it because, she's got big boobs?
Was it?
Probably.
Oh. But you brought it up.
Who knows? But I gave it a shot, and it was fun. It was fun when I was there, but when it was over, I was relieved because MTV was such a better place for me because it was younger.
Right.
It was it was just better.
More of a demo.
Yeah, it was more my demographic. I mean, I was on it would be like an 18-year-old hosting,
the Today Show,
Yeah, the Today Show. It just doesn't connect with people, so it didn't work.
So you had that. You had modeling. You were, what is it called? Page 3 girls or something like that?
Page 3 girls, yeah.
Right, because obviously you don't see that here in America.
Yeah.
But Americans are always fascinated when you look at some of the papers over there and go, what the? This is great.
I know. I think there's this kind of notion that British people are kind of obsessed with sex.
Well, yeah, but then you're so far conservative in other things that are silly.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
But we have things like Benny Hill and Carry On movies and I think
Python used to show all that.
We have a naughty side, that kind of British naughtiness. It's never kind of smutty.
Right.
It's always a bit more kind of fun and tongue in cheek and sweet, and it's never
because it's interesting that they're pretty more relaxed with the sex stuff, but not with the violence and the gun stuff. When in America, it's the other way around.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, we don't have. Yeah, you can't buy guns at the supermarket in England. No. That's crazy to me.
You can buy them at Walmart.
Yeah, apparently so.
Go pick up a couple. Bring them back home. Do you get portrayed sort of in an unfair advantage sometimes based on all the paparazzi always around you and the tabloids in England?
What, in terms of like public perception, or in terms of like
just even as far as your career, like, is it slanted? At least on that side, because here you're kind of celebrated with all, like, every time you have a new calendar coming out or a photo shoot or whatever, it's all over the place over here.
Yeah, well, I think in the UK, like, I go back to the Big Breakfast, because I started so young and it was such a huge platform. I think people found it hard to have respect for me, because I just kind of came out of nowhere and I was so young and it was such a big job, and it was kind of, even though I did the job, and you know, it was kind of deemed like a failure. And so I think people kind of wrote me off a little bit, which was part of the reason why I came to America, because it was kind of like I could start over again and just be judged on, you know, my work, and not so much, you know, all that kind of negativity that I'd experienced back in the UK. Right. But I find that over the years that has changed somewhat. I mean, you're always going to have, you know, people that kind of think you get somewhere for, like, you know, the wrong reasons. That, you know, it's very hard for people to kind of look at certain women in the media and go, oh, they're talented, or they work hard, or they just think it's easy. They just think, oh, anyone can do it. And it's not the case. I think with any career or any craft, you know, you have to, you know, it's tough to keep going and keep persevering, and, you know, all the rejection and the negativity that's put on you, you know, you have to have quite thick skin, and you have to have a certain belief in yourself, not an arrogance, but just a certain, like, you know,
confidence.
Yeah, certain confidence, and just, you know, that's what you do for a living. That is your job, and you can't let people take that away from you, you know, and you have to keep that in mind. Otherwise, yeah, you'd go crazy.
The business of Kelly Brook, your own company, your own everything here as far as your career goes. Do you have a good management team behind you helping you with this, or is this sort of your own way of thinking of keeping the straight and narrow as far as what you're doing?
I mean, I have a very small management team that I work with. I mean, most of the, like, for example, like my swimwear line, lingerie line, even the deal with Skechers that I'm doing at the moment, these are things that I've kind of, you know, I see certain brands and things that I want to work with and things that appeal to me. You know, I'm into fitness, I'm into health, I'm into, like, women celebrating their bodies and being confident, and all these things. So if I see certain brands that promote that, then I want to kind of work with them. And so, you know, I speak to my management team and I say, you know, can we meet with them and discuss some ideas or come up with some, you know. So
you're very mindful as far as what, not just your next step is, but where you are 3 steps, 4 steps down the line.
Yeah, I think you have to be creative and think, you know, what's next. And I never really dwell on what I've done, or kind of keep moving forward.
Because you've done a good job by not doing a lot of the programming, at least in the UK, that a lot of people who are just new to fame or trying to become bigger than they are, what they do is go on to those like Celebrity Big Brother kind of shows, those kind of programs.
Yes.
And you've avoided all of that.
Like the reality shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel that that's something that that I would be interested in doing at all, really.
No, I'm just saying that it's a smart move.
I don't think it's a... I think it just puts you in a different place in the media. And I think people have a different... That can really help certain people.
I don't think in this day and age you can get a reality show and they could get a season, maybe 2 out of it, where they're promoting it and they're like, oh, you're great, you're insane, the people around you are insane.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't help your career at all, as far as you have this very popular reality show, but then you can't get a movie job. You can't get a TV job because they're going to look at you as just, well, you're not really an actress or an actor. You're just some, you know, a lot of times some rube, some dumbass that just got a reality show. You don't see any of the housewives really in any kind of project other than tied to the housewives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure over the years I could have made a lot more money by doing those shows.
But your career would have suffered in the long run.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? I think I've always thought really long term, you know. I think I've always, you know, shied away from doing reality TV, and I'd rather go and do a play in the West End for like 6 months and, you know, and earn like a minimum wage than, you know, be on some big reality show and people knowing what I have for breakfast every day. It's not really... I don't feel I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I know a lot of these women enjoy doing what they do and they have very great careers and earn lots of money and whatnot. But that, for me, that's just not what I'm about as a person. I went to drama school. I kind of studied to be an actress. I still go to class. I still work with, you know, great teachers. That's something. It's a craft.
The public perception. That's great to hear, because the public perception doesn't think that you have any legitimate acting skill,
right?
You know, and the fact that you do kind of surprises people when they go, she can really act. Or when you go to auditions, you go, well, she actually has some, professional and respectable training.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think the media don't always tell the right story. They tell the story that they want to tell.
No, they see a pretty face, and then they're just like, then she falls into this category.
Yeah.
Don't even bother looking at the rest of the past unless it's scandalous.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, when I look at the tabloids and I see like that the appetite and the interest in my personal life, it is like you're living in Big Brother, even though you're not on the telly. Like they're outside your house every day and they're kind of following your every movement. And it is a bit like that. But it's a double-edged sword because I'm on social media and I share a lot of my life on social media because I feel like I'm in people's living rooms every week on my show, One Big Happy. And I feel like the audience do want to connect with you and the fans of the show kind of do want to, tell you about how they feel about the show and you want to, appreciate them and talk to them. So I think it's a weird, I'm kind of in that weird stage where it's like, I'm happy to, for people to know more about me and connect with people, but then also I do want to have an element of privacy as well. So it is a kind of tricky one to navigate. I don't know if I do it right. I don't know.
Well, first you probably, if the paparazzi knows where you live, you may have to move. So that you can go out to the beach in private.
I move every 2 years, literally. I literally move every 2 years. Then they find me.
You got to have a dummy corporation or under somebody else's name so they can't find you on these public records. But I do like how you brought it right back around to One Big Happy, which is Tuesday nights, 9:30 on NBC. Show produced by Ellen DeGeneres and starring, of course, Kelly Brook, Elizabeth Cuthbert, who plays Lizzie. Sorry, I don't know why I was stumbling on that. And Nick Zana, who plays Luke. The premise of the show, if for those who haven't seen it, it's on demand. It's also on the website. You can see the first 4 episodes up on the website right now on NBC.com. Nick was a guy who wasn't really connecting with anybody, but he had a best friend who was who's a lesbian.
Yeah.
And they got to the point where they were older. It's that old bet. If we're not married by 40, we'll marry each other kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they get to the point where she wants to have a kid. They're adults, and they agree that they're going to do this. And then he goes off and meets you, and then all of a sudden he announces you two are married, but then finds out she's pregnant.
Yes.
So now all 3 of you are forced to be a family.
Yeah, 1 guy, 2 girls. That old chestnut. Yeah, no, it was based on Liz Feldman, the creator's actual real life. She had a situation where she's a lesbian and had a best friend. And they always made this pact that they would have a child together when the time was right. However, he did meet the love of his life, got married, and she was like, well, make sure you tell him, make sure you tell her, we got this pact. And, it worked out differently for them, but that kind of inspired her to create the show. And it's actually really interesting how many people kind of tweet me and talk to me about, that they've had a similar kind of situation. So it's not that uncommon. And it is kind of redefining how we think families are nowadays, because I don't think there is such thing as a conventional family.
If you saw a sitcom nowadays where it's the standard family, mother, father, 2, 3, 4 kids, whatever, father goes to work, the mom stays at home, everyone's is calling bullshit. Because they're looking at it and it's like, this is 50s through 80s stuff. I can't sit there and watch the show because it's not realistic anymore.
Yeah.
There's got to be some angle that either the parents are divorced or a parent passed away and there's a stepfather, stepkids.
Yeah.
Now that with the lesbian angle and on all of that, that's more what would seem like as a funny throwaway back in the day is now this is the dynamic for what would be a nuclear family.
Yeah, well, I just don't think, a majority of people were being represented on TV in that kind of way in a sitcom. So I think that's what Liz wanted to do. She wanted to kind of say, look, this is acceptable. This is happening. If you don't like it, tough, suck it up because this is happening.
Did you ever ask why the name Prudence? Because that's a very old-fashioned name.
Yeah.
That's like being named Virginia now.
I think Liz Feldman has a complete fascination and obsession with English culture in general. So she probably saw it in a storybook.
The Paul McCartney song comes to mind anytime you hear that name.
Prudence.
Dear Prudence.
I like it though. Prudence Melizabeth Baines.
See, and that's another thing.
Melizabeth. It's a sitcom. It's a comedy. We have to heighten it a little bit.
Takes me out of it.
Does it?
I mean, it's better than a Mary, I guess, or a Beth. I don't know. Prudence is... That's almost
Beatrice.
You don't like the name
Prudence?
All right. Well, There's worse things to talk about than that.
But next time in the network meeting, I'll put a little note in for you.
Want to spice it up for May sweeps? Switch the name. And don't explain it to the audience. Just do it. You come out, and then like, wait, I thought she was Prudence. No, we're not talking about that. Just don't address it.
Just change it
and see if they'll follow along with it.
Well, there's more to Prudence than meets the eye. Like she has a few like things from the past that come back to kind of catch up with her over the next few weeks. So yeah. It's an interesting journey for Prudence, so you never know.
Let me give out your Twitter and stuff also, so people. You said you like interacting with people.
I do.
So let's have them interact. It's I am Kelly Brook on Twitter, and then it's IAMKB on Instagram.
Yes.
Who had I am Kelly Brook on Instagram?
I don't know actually. I don't know. Joe, I set it up so many years ago. Someone had it.
See if you. You're famous. You can contact Instagram and say, hey, look, it's part of your branding. You need to get verified with all the same name across all social media platforms.
I feel like you want to be part of my management company.
I just want to leave here. I just want to do anything in television. I will gladly ride your coattails if that opportunity came around to me.
Right.
And, of course, kellybrook.com. But you're from England. I always ask about British television.
Okay.
What do you watch when you're over there?
I mean, I love. We have so many great shows.
You do.
I love The Office when that first came out. I love Absolutely Fabulous. We have a great show called Only Fools and Horses, which was on for many, many years. I don't think you got that here. I mean, we have some great comedy.
All right. Well, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Have you seen Black Books? It's an old show.
No.
Black Books?
No.
Great series.
What, a British series?
British series.
Really?
Only what do you call them? Series over there.
Series,
Series for Black Books, early 90s. Very good.
Okay.
What about Black Mirror?
No.
It's almost the Twilight Zone. It's a new twist.
Okay.
And everything. It was huge over there. You didn't see that?
No. Well, I'm back and forth all the time.
It's on Netflix. You have no excuse.
Okay, I'll tune in.
All right, let me go for the big show then, Doctor Who.
Yes, of course. You love Doctor Who.
I'm wearing a Time Lord hoodie.
Oh, yes.
I'm a huge Doctor Who fan.
Oh, wow. Geek.
Were you a fan? I guess not. She just called me a geek. So hot chick just shot me down for Doctor Who. I got my answer there. I was going to say maybe you should try to be the next companion, but forget that.
I just blew it.
One Big Happy is on NBC Tuesday nights 9:30. Produced by Ellen DeGeneres. Kelly Brook plays Prudence, the very lovely Kelly Brook. What do you have in the works outside of this?
I just completed an independent movie in England called Taking Stock. It's a female-led heist movie. So, yeah. So that's coming out at some point.
And you're no stranger to movies.
Shopping and eating. That's all I kind of do.
You're no stranger to movies. You can go back and see her body of work. House of Nine, you were in. Italian
it's a
Job.
classic.
Italian Job, you were in there.
3D.
And my favorite, Survival Island. That beach scene is incredible.
Oh my God, I'm dying. You killed my life.
Kelly?
Is that because I was mean about your hoodie?
I actually seriously love the beach scene. I'm not knocking you down. It's probably one of the hottest scenes in cinema history.
Nick Zano saw that movie and he didn't know it was me for the whole series of One Big Happy. And then he was like, oh, that was you in that movie? I was like, yes.
Awesome movie. You should check it out. Kelly, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I will
you.
never talk to you about Doctor Who ever again. But next time you do come around, I would like to see you again.
All right. Lots of love. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.